Hello people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As promised, today I'm going to talk about 5 downsides of my 2001 Volvo C70 T5. So let's get to it. I'm gonna start off by saying that I really love this car, but as everything in life, you get good both positive and negative sides of everything. And without further ado, let's jump into the subject. It's been a few years now since I bought my Volvo T5, and I realized some issues with her. So let's start with the first thing that was almost a game changer when I went to buy it, and that was the automatic gearbox. To be honest, I never was against automatic gearboxes, especially that if you think about the fact that you drive your car daily in the city with all that traffic, well, it's better than shifting all the time. I was a gearhead guy since birth, and I'm saying that because of my father, and as a good thing because he was a mechanic, so I don't know, he transmitted this to me. And I loved cars since I know myself. I remember the times when I was very young and I was looking forward to grow up enough to get a driver's license, just to get to drive every car that I can possibly drive. Back then in my country, cars with automatic gearboxes were very rare, and they were considered luxury cars. And by that I don't mean I'm not trying to say that I'm very old, but it was quite a while ago. So later on, I've learned a thing or two about gearboxes in general, manual and automatic, and then I fell in love even more with manual gearboxes. And especially I was very young, and I was young and reckless, and the speed was running through my blood. But I never considered even hating one or the other. It was just about preferences on each car, on each road, on each purpose for the car, for the gearboxes to do. But I just liked more manual gearboxes because my father taught me how to make engine brake. And if you know what that is, you know that is way better in driving a manual gearbox car on slippery road, like especially in winter time. If you have a lot of snow and ice on the road, is way better. You have more control of your car when you drive a manual gearbox than an automatic one. Speaking about slippery roads, we came down to the second downside of my car, and that would be the front wheel drive system. With a 2.3 liter petrol engine stock producing 240 brake horsepower, you could have so much fun with this car if it would be rear wheel drive. But I guess the Swedish company wanted to make a reliable car better than a fun one. And that is because over there in Sweden is a lot of snow, and it's way better to drive a front wheel drive car in those conditions because it's way less probable to slide and drift off the road and end up in a ditch somewhere than a rear wheel drive car. So as I said, is a two sides of each stories, and in today's video I have to talk about the downside. Especially me living in London, where you get almost none of that snow, so you don't really need a front wheel drive car, and I would much rather have a rear wheel drive car to have a bit of fun, Moving on, I think I talked a lot, so we must have a coffee break. Moving on to the third thing I don't really like about my car would be the instrument cluster appearance. While I do love the analog clusters, I really don't like driving in the nighttime because it has this green light, dashboard green light, and it looks like an old Nokia 1100, if you remember that. Even though it's fully functional, I really think it looks outdated, especially with that green light. Like I said, it looks like an old phone, mobile phone. I tried to, compensate a bit and try to revive it with changing the head unit with a touchscreen one instead of the ones that they normally have. And but the thing is, it still looks old. Tried to mask this old appearance with, like I said, the head unit, and also having like a theme for the car, this green light, but it still looks outdated. So moving down to fourth thing I hate about this car, and that will be the position of the engine. Yeah, that's right, it's not like this, is sideways. So that's really uncomfortable when you try to work on it, especially if you are a DIY guy, or if not, and you take your car to the shops and the people, the mechanics are trying to do some work on your car. They will still charge you a lot because they have to put on some work on it. Like, for example, on these parts here, do a timing belt or stuff like that. They will charge you, especially when they charge by the hour. It won't be a big of an issue if you have a small 4-cylinder engine, but if you have a T5 or a T6 engine, like this one is a 2.3 liter, and T6 will be like 6 cylinders, and 3 liter engine is quite big. And if you know a Volvo, they put the engines, like I showed you, sideways, and you really don't have enough space to work with if you're trying to fix something on the engine. And by knowing that, just remember, when you go to your local shop, like the local garage, mechanic, whatever, just think about the fact that some of them will charge you even more just because they try and stall time, because there's a lot of work to put on these cars, and because the engine is sideways, and they really have to do some really hard work. Before I get to the last part and the last annoying thing I have to say about my car, I really have to say thank you for everyone that stays on the channel, watches my videos, and is still subscribed. I have to really thank you for everything you do for me, especially that recently I had one subscriber unsubscribed from my channel, and it made me thinking it's probably that I said I'm gonna do this video and it took me a while to do it. And if it's that, I must assure you is that it took me this long just because I just recently opened another channel of reactions, and I was trying to do some reactions videos, and that's why it took me a while. I was a bit sick as well, and I couldn't shoot this video. And yeah, if you want to check that channel as well, you'll find it as RGB Robert Goes Bunkers. You can also sorry, you can also find it in the description box below. The theme about that channel is I'm trying to see how fast take it up to first 1,000 subscribers. So if you don't mind, if you want, just go down there subscribe to that channel if you like it, and I have to say thank you in advance. Right now I only have about 3 subscribers. Like I said, it's at the beginning. I just started it a few days ago. Go there and subscribe. Back to the subject. The last thing I really hate about my car is the tail lights. I'm not trying to say they're ugly or outdated or anything like that, because in fact I really love the shape of them, how they look, especially on my car. But what I'm trying to say is I hate that no one decided to make an aftermarket set of them, you know, to make the car look a bit sportier or just a bit different. And believe me, I did research. You know, I've done my research. I've looked all over the internet, even second-hand ones, or new or whatever. Just a set of rear lamps, a bit different, so I can change on my car, but no results. I did found headlamps. I found a couple of different headlamps actually, and I did bought them, and they are amongst the first things I changed on this car. But at the same time I was looking for those rear lamps with no results. So I guess people didn't want to spend time in modifying them or anything. Or another guess of mine is that everyone thought they're very sexy and good looking and beautiful as they are, and didn't want to change them. Probably.